Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you getting on? You're all very welcome to Bookshot, episode 153. 153, or for our international listeners, that's 153, guys, for Friday, the 28th of August, 2020. Just getting this out. Normally I have it out very early in the morning. But, yeah, we had a storm last night. Internet shit the bed. And fucking not to blame the internet, but the electricity shit the bed. But we're back on track. So I just said I'd get the old intro done and all the rest while looking out at the pissings of rain. Absolutely lovely. What a summer we're having. Huh? I mean, lads, it's never hectic, But by Jesus Christ, this is some fucking lashing we're getting, isn't it? This is a fucking scandal. Thanks very much to everybody who contributed to Patreon. I have a new Patreon, and I didn't. Patreon. Fucking, I can't find it. Thank you very much. You're very welcome on board. Fair play to you. God bless you. This is So we had a Bookshot sideshow out during the week, and we had Hard Enough Podcast. The video, of course, is up on the Patreon for the Patreons because it's a little thank you to those lovely people. I was gigging last week. Yeah, got a couple of gigs in last week up at the Bowl Mickey Bartlett up in Belfast just to see how it would go. And it seems to be going good. I can't see why it won't fucking work and why you can't set precedents. 2 people per table, 50 people in a room, 1.5 meters around them. Work the fucking finest. So, I don't see what having a fucking bite to eat has to do with it. If anything, they're in the safest place possible because it's ticketed only. The average public person can't walk in, So, we should be, I reckon fucking comedy should be where it's at. Set the precedence there, sell the tickets prior, you know who's in the room, you know their table, you know everything about it. It's not, I think it's actually better than the grub notion. Fuck it. Anyway, what else did I have out this week? That's it. Apologies if there wasn't more, but fucking we're getting this one out as well. If you haven't had a go off there's 9 of them up at this stage. Buckshot Sideshow. Mighty crack on that. We had Carl Spain, we had Jim Elliott and Ger Staunton, and who else was on? Edwin Salmon. So 2 new boys last week. So we'll have another lineup again next week. All going according to plan. I must call over to Dr. Gordo. He has a few kind of hardware bits for me to be doing around the place in this studio. So I'll get that put together for him because he's going full tilt. Yeah, we have. I'll be jumping on board with a couple of his podcasts. That I'm very excited about. Very excited about coming down the line. I have no gigs in the foreseeable. This is normally the point where I tell you, guys, coming up to... No, there's no gigs at the minute. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. There's a few... There's grass shoots coming up around the place. So I'll keep you posted. As soon as I know, you'll know. Simple as that. Hit subscribe as your first time listening. You know yourself. Hit subscribe. As I just pointed out, there's a langer load of material comes out over the... Do you know what I am going to do too? And I'll just put them together in the cluster. You can skip over them if you watched it or whatever. I'm going to put up the audio of the Buckshot Sideshow. All barring kind of Scutter Talk, which is the voiceover bit. You won't know what the fuck you're listening to. But the rest of it I think is pretty good stuff. And you know what? For people who don't have time to sit down and watch an hour and a half show on YouTube, but they are driving places, it might add a bit of crack, a bit of spice to the afternoon. So I'm going to stick that up as well. I'm going to get download all the audio from that because we do play it live on YouTube. So I'll rip all that down and throw it up in one cluster of... A cluster, it's a word we're not supposed to use now, is it? Huh? Cluster. Like Nestle clusters. Gone. Ruined. Can't fucking have clusters anymore. What else can't we have? We can't have Corona beer. It's fucked. I mean, I wonder did Chinese restaurants suffer as a result? I wonder what suffered as a result. We know what suffered, but do you know what I mean? Under kind of silly notions you're going because of the name of the fucking thing. Somebody will, although I put this up on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, some fucker will name their child Corona or COVID. Well, lo and behold, the internet answered. A bunch of people sent me different links to different fuckos that had named their kids Corona and fucking COVID as a result of it. So yeah, that's where we're fucking at, people. So yeah, like I said, hit subscribe if you do want to join the Patreon revolution, which does help support the show. We're taking up the old kitty is ticking up nicely. We will get the computer. It's looking middle of September, I think, around my birthday actually. Do you know what? It should actually land in around. We should have the wherewithal to create a proper fucking built-in computer for, I'd say around the birthday we should have it. So there'll be more videos even going out. Of course, the videos to all this, it goes up on the Patreon, and that's the kind of the thank you that I do. So you know what, jump on it, sling $3. If you only do it 1 month, you only do it 1 month. But some people are very kind. They give more than the $3 because they feel it's worth more to them, and they're sound out. So there you have it. Lovely. Merch shop as well there if you want to get stuff with my face all over it. Now, my guest today. It's been a long time in the coming for this one. We just trying to align calendars and all the rest of it. I wanted the three of them on all at once, but then you know what? It would only work if I was in the room with them because they're three fucking lunatics. So I'm going to break them up and I'm going to hunt them down one by one. So if the first one up is one of the Fupin Ejits, one of the hugely popular online sketch comedy groups from Tipperary/Kilkenny. I met the lads for reals. Although I met Stevie, one of the boys. He came over to my parents' place and we shot a couple of very funny sketches just for the crack. And I've met the lads Steamboats at the Vodafone Comedy Festival. I think I actually talked about it on this at the time. But I got Senan Byrne on, who is the bearded one. Oh no, the lads, all three of them kind of have beards. Yeah, three of them do have beards. But he's more pronounced in the beardy world. If you know what I mean, there's more, you describe that man as having a beard. Do you know what I mean? He fucking hates, ironically hates talking about himself, even though he is so, he became one of the top Vine stars in the world. Vine, even that, I kept on poking the word star and famous just because I just wanted to see his face turn inside out with cringe, which made for the most beautifully Irish podcast ever. He was powerful crack. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the brilliant Senan Byrne. Welcome, Senan Byrne, to the podcast. For anybody for anybody who's listening, because there will be the video footage of this up on the Patreon, all right, but Senan he put his own background behind him, and it's Phil Hogan in the European Union.
He's an honest guy. We're forgiving people.
He's there was a great sketch done years ago. Do you remember a show called Irish Pictorial Weekly?
Yes, brilliant.
Colin McDonald did a fucking brilliant sketch, and I must message him to see if it can be dug back up again, because I look for it online and I can't find it. And it's basically, he went to Brussels to find Phil Hogan and asked, as his biggest fan, he's like, well, Phil, and he kept on turning up at these, like, you know, outside the Parliament and stuff, and your man was like,
no way.
Yeah, and he followed him around Brussels. And basically, because he, even back then, this must be 5 or 6 years ago, even back then he was going, Phil, you're a fucking legend, man. You're getting away with murder over here. You're drinking every night of the week, and you're fucking Phil, I'd love to be like you. And he was like, you know, but just pure Teflon, just fucking water off a duck's back. He was like, yeah, sure, that's I know,
yeah. He's got balls, I have to say.
But you would, though, over in Brussels, man. I gigged over there a few times, and everybody that's in Parliament from over any country, I even described the one night, I said, you fuckers, you're all still in college. Bar you're wearing suits, like, and you go, they go on the rip on a Thursday. The town is mental on a Thursday night because everybody flies back to their country on a Friday then.
Yeah.
So but you did you had a sketch out today, didn't you?
Oh, we did a Mickey Mouse sketch there today on Phil Hogan, and that's the pun that he had to go on.
I was give it anybody who's. I guarantee him 90% of the people that listen to my podcast are most likely following you or the Fupin Ejits, on some platform or another. But for the crackers, I know Senan, and let's just look him up and see what the internet says about Senan. And there's like these top Vine stars, and there's and they've the most random shit, and there's no way I'm going to see if it's right. Apparently, you live in Ennistimon now.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, no, that's false. There must be some other Senan Byrne living in his time, and that's typing these things in.
And you were born in Dublin.
I was born in Dublin, which is news to me. And I went to college. Is it Maynooth or something like that?
No, LIT. LIT, the one LIT. I read. Yeah.
And that's falsified. Fake news.
Fucking hell. So
I don't know who has the time to type these things in.
I wonder, because it's like, it's a shit Wikipedia. Like, it's
Yeah.
But you pick Ennis Diamond out of any town in Ireland, like, they just,
Yeah.
like...
I think the corporation or the county council in this time just wanted it on the map somehow. So they've entered it in everyone's data online.
The last time we met, we were fucking
drunk.
We were drunk. It was
drunk, and then there was very drunk.
The Fupin Ejits I ran into you at the Vodafone Comedy Carnival or Comedy Festival.
Yeah, up in what's the name of that little park?
The Ivy Gardens.
Ivy Gardens, yeah. That's a long time ago now, isn't it?
It's at least 2 years ago anyway, yeah. It's at least
more.
Yeah, this wasn't the one. Obviously, there wasn't one gone. There wasn't a previous. It's 3 festivals ago anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Did you go on the rip after that? Because I was looking at 3, because you were talking about going on hitting coppers afterwards.
Sure. We went walking for around 17 hours and discovered that every pub, they didn't want any of us, you know. We were having to crack out in the streets and falling asleep in puddles. It was lovely, really nice evening. Nice warm evening.
But you're a whiskey man these days, though, aren't you? Man, some of your cocktails you're putting up.
Oh, I love whiskey. Ashraf Notions. The lads call me Notions, but I love making a nice drink at home, and the lads say I don't drink them. I just take photos of them, which is the truth half the time. You take nice pic for Instagram and you just fuck it down the sink then.
I love that. It's just make another pot of cold tea there, love, and we'll make we'll make a couple of whiskey sours there for ourselves.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I was talking with a couple of other lads to do podcasts, and we were talking about possibly doing like a whiskey podcast, but I can't see it going in any way right. Like, do you get as fucked up on whiskey as I would assume I do anyway? Fucking hell.
Oh, I get fucked up on the smell of whiskey. I open the bottle and smell it. You could do like drunk histories. Do you ever see that channel?
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, drunk podcast.
Do you know what? We need to see more sketches from you. Absolutely locked drunk.
I think I can't remember. There were times when we did. Actually, today's one, Eddie was drunk. I made 3 or 4 cocktails for him, and he drank them within the same half an hour. So he was very intoxicated for the last sketch.
I know. I thought his acting was actually impeccable. It was
sublime. It's sublime. When he's himself, it's not great.
Tell me, let's go back to the beginning. So of the 3 boys, how did you meet, or were you up and running before the boys?
I was only up and running for a few months, but it was only. So I started off on a little app called Vine, and I hate talking about it because it's dead in the water. But it's like a 6-second video thing that loops, and it was for Americans and kids, and it didn't really catch on in Ireland. But so I was doing that for a while, and then the 2 lads I work with were kind of intrigued by it, and one by one they jumped on board with it. And Eddie was always mad. Eddie loved to dress up at home with wigs and dresses and makeup and all that kind of stuff. So we had to find an outlet where he could express himself, freely, and it could be, somewhat acceptable to do that. So he found that the medium of video. So he's really found his calling now. So he's happy out doing this. Yeah. And Stevie loves goofy videos. He's mad into goofy videos, and that's all he wants to do in life. He contemplated leaving nursing just to do goofiness, but and that's how we started.
I love how you totally brushed over. I don't like talking about Vine. You were one of the top Viners in the world, man, at one stage. Like,
well, not really, but I was top Irish Viner because no one else fucking downloaded that.
They fucking did, man. They did. But what I liked about Vine though was, if you were going to have to be funny on it, you better. It was a good notion. It better be no trimmings at all. You had to get straight to the humor. That's what I liked about it. It was like. And it wasn't that. It was obviously invented for Americans originally because there's short attention spans. But man, it was just boom, boom, boom. And there you go. There's your joke in 6 seconds. And it had to be, because I saw a couple of watery ones now and you're going, oh, no, that's
it. It's like 6.4 seconds or 6.5 seconds to be exact. So if you edited a Vine on a computer, you'd be using milliseconds if you had to use it, which is weird because 6.5 seconds is nothing when you think about videos nowadays.
But that's it. I think sometimes like things can run way over. Do you know what I mean? The thing gets fucking lost in translation. Like there was a couple of sketch shows that made TV and stuff, and I'm looking, going, man, if you're doing a long sketch, you got to be in and out of it in 2 minutes. You know, unless you're Catherine Tate, who's built up a character base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
that's it.
You know, you're the fucking Little Britain lads. People aren't going to stick with you on it, but.
Not at all.
He I remember one of my favorite ones was and it seems to do the circles every so often. It just pops up in different things. It was the floating car one. What was
that one? Bananas. That one bananas. Yeah, it was what's it called? Helium balloons. Which was I was in work one day and the lads were mad to do a video, and I had this like I'd have all the idea pads and I'm drunk or when I used to do work nights and I'd be sleep deprived and kind of a bit mad, and I'd write down all these weird ideas, and that was one. I saw a car floating away on some weird site. I was thinking it was like a dodgy site, but not like a sex site. It's like one of those graphic sites where the lads used to send you like rotten.com, and I click into something and then it would bring up another video. But that was one of them, or a car floating away. And I said, that was a good idea. So I thought of helium balloons and blah, blah, blah. But we got the balloons on our lunch break and recorded it on a lunch break in space of like 5 minutes. And I uploaded it. Was the next day. I edited a small bit on my computer. And it just went bananas. And it's every bloody week someone references it or somewhere. But it's lots of Vines, you know. But that's one of them at least. But it's kind of cool.
Did you have any? Because I was like getting famous as a result of it. You know, did you have any weirdness? I know you're even moving in your seat there now. I said famous, and I just said that on purpose, just to see what would that irk you some of it. And the Irish person in you just went, oh God. My ancestors won't let me live with that word.
I hate talking about myself. I absolutely hate it. I was like, oh no, after a podcast now, how will I make myself interesting? But no, I think there's never any element of fame. People will go, hey, that's your man off the fucking, and they're scutters, and they say, you know, they might know your name in town. They have some guts. Irish people have some guts to come up and say, hey, you're the fella from whatever app they associate you with. But I'd never do that. I'd be terrified. But there were a few occasions, weird occasions. I remember myself and Eddie were over in Bordeaux in France, and just to do with Vine, actually, we got kind of a trip over there. But we were flying back through somewhere in Spain, Madrid, and these American girls came up and said, oh, you're Senan Byrne off Vine. And I thought that was so weird. And that was only when I first started making Vines. I wasn't, you know, I didn't have as many followers then. And I thought that was this eerie and creepy. And I think I just went, yeah, and that was it. I wasn't even nice to them. I felt terrible. It's just the Irishness came out in me. I said,
forget my name. Forget me. I don't exist. Irish people are brutal like that, because I mean, it still troubles me. It just in my core when you see like American, you know, things like World Star. You know, like have you ever followed? I had to get rid of it. It was just everybody's going. Yeah. I'm the greatest that ever walked the earth. Look at me. And every single person on it was, I'm the greatest person of all time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sickening.
And even with like social media, I always thought, I never thought it was actually real. I still to this day think it's just for silliness, surely. I never get people just only taking pictures of their face. I'm like, yeah. It's still your face. Where's the crack in this, like?
Yeah. Oh, it's vanity driven. These days, you know, it's each side of the face for each day of the week. Very frustrating.
Where are you originally from in Tip?
Clonmel, or Clonmel, I call it. It's not the safest town in the world.
There are, trust me, I've been around this country. There are worse towns than Clonmel. There are worse. Yeah.
Ireland are quite proud of this. You know, typically an average 12 stabbings every weekend, so we're proud of that, but we may up it.
I was actually born in the hospital in Clonmel. So I've some, yeah, I was. They named a wing after me. No, they didn't. It was- But
So you're born in the 90s, were you?
I was born in the 80s. Thanks very much for that. No, thanks very much. Jesus Christ. With my half grey moustache, you're going, you were born in the 90s, Tom, but you've aged terribly. You keep the beard. I'm not seeing a spot of grey in your beard whatsoever.
It's the low resolution phone. It's great. I can never get a new phone because you can see everything, all the imperfections. I have this thing on my head. It's called a spot, and I was going to get a razor and cut it off before this podcast.
Because that would have looked way better. A crater on the top of your fucking head.
Well, I'd say that. I just say I was down in Clonmel for the day.
Oh, where are you living now? Not Ennisdiamond, anyway.
I was going to pan the camera and show you Kilkenny, but it's just fucking Phil. What's his name? Phil Hogan.
Oh.
I'm living in Kilkenny now the last 7 years, and I'm working here as well. Bought a house, so we're married a girl.
Oh, is she Kilkenny? Are you cross racial?
She's actually from Waterford, and so there's a mix of counties. It's very confusing. I think I've been excommunicated from Clonmel after those previous comments, so I may as well just be from Kilkenny now at this stage.
Well, no, I trust me, Senan. As soon as you move to Kilkenny, I would imagine your visa has been fucking revoked. I would imagine.
That's it. Are you living in Tip now?
No. Although we talks of even moving back there at some stage, maybe to North Tip or whatever, like. But
yeah,
no, I'm living in Enniskerry in Wicklow, so I'm just.
I was just going to say Ennisdiamond.
Do you know what? There was a temptation there, and it was like, watch now, the internet will freeze, and the Zoom call will drop, and Senan will go away for 2 days, thinking that cunt is in Ennisdiamond, and he giving me shit about being in Ennisdiamond.
So you're in Enniskerry?
Enniskerry, yeah, just outside, just not far outside the city, but it's country enough. You know what I mean? It's because being a fucking hillbilly, I get fucking heart palp. I was even in town today. I was in Dublin today, like, and I was on Abbey Street. Now, Abbey Street is like going to the fucking zoo anyway. Like, it's there's every kind of urchin walking around the place. But I was getting fucking palpitations. It was like, the Lewis wants to hit me every 2 minutes. For fuck's sake. And it's not even that bad with the tourism. Sure, Kilkenny must be fucking dead without the tourists at the minute, is it?
I wish you're just local to. You're getting people from all over the country. Like people actually leaving Donegal to come visit the rest of the country. We're going up to Donegal, the rest of them are coming down. So it's still tipping away. There's no late night pubs. The roads are quiet after 9 or 10. There's no one on the roads.
Lovely.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is. There's a weirdness to it. But were you? So you must have been flat out working all through the fucking quarantine and lockdown and everything.
Yeah, so I'm a nurse, and the two other lads that do the videos, Stevie and Eddie, the three of us are nurses. So we had no holiday or no break like the teachers. So we were fucking hectic.
You were proper frontline staff. Did people applaud you as you walked around the place? Like
we were heroes, apparently. What's the term? Are we heroes still now, or is that forgotten about?
No, you're still. See, I wonder too, like, because like you're married and everything now. So do you ever see, like, in America, fellas dress up as soldiers sometimes walking around the place?
Yeah.
And they get outed every so often, but they're walking around the place to get all the plaudits for thank you for your service. I'm just wondering, like, is there going to be lads dressing up in scrubs walking around the place?
Well, my wife's a nurse as well. I've worn her uniform a few times, but that didn't work out.
No, you're not going to get an applause. Do you know what? I was thinking, because there were talks of doing it in Ireland too. Do you know the way in the UK, everybody stood at their front door and clapped?
Yeah, with the pots and pans.
And I was just thinking, there is no Irish nurse, doctor, or medical person on this island that could stick with that. Your chest wouldn't allow it. Your heart would actually give out with the shame and shut the fuck up.
Projectile vomit.
All of our faces would just turn in with cringes. Just actually, we'd all have folded in faces with cringing.
I only remember one, like, we live in the city, like right in the city, but I remember one night they had the pots and pans out, and I heard one person off in the distance, real faint, But I don't know, were they screaming for help or was it the pots? They were kind of like, ah. But, and it was kind of a disturbance. I was watching something on telly and it was kind of a hindrance more so.
Your man, we were chatting about when you were going, well, here's my schedule for the next month, Tom. Your fucking schedule is mental, man. It's all like...
That's the roster. That's only that's the road of a nurse. We work almost day on, day off, and it's 12, 13 hour shifts, depending. And it's a shithole. The HSE don't follow you, do they?
No, they fucking don't. No.
Yeah,
no,
well,
they
they're
don't.
absolute. Bleat this out. Bit. I know, they're not too bad. They pay me, I suppose, and they're going to give me a pension when I'm 60, 65 or 67, depending if I'm not alive.
Yeah, it depends if you fucking make it. Jesus.
Yeah.
So what was the notion to get into nursing then? Because this is really interesting, like, because
I put the wrong code on my CAO, but genuinely, no, I actually did, but it was for like I did know it was for nursing. I put the DCU as opposed to UCD, and I'm not dyslexic or anything like that. It was just I completely messed up my whole CAO form, but I eventually got Waterford and did nursing down there. And how many years ago was that? The rest is history now. That's where I actually met my missus. She's a nurse, or she still is a nurse, I hope, but she was down in Waterford as well.
What was the thinking behind nursing? Were you like, this is my fucking calling? Or did you know somebody was a nurse and was like, that's the fucking job for me?
I didn't. Sure, a few of my family were general nurses. So we're psychiatric nurses. We only work from the head up.
Yes.
So it's not real nursing, we call it. Albeit it's called nursing. My grandfather was a nurse back in the 1950s and 60s. And back then they were called the white coats, or the attendants. And I was kind of intrigued by that growing up. So I did a kind of a placement, like you get paid, or you work for free. It's called child labour.
Oh yeah. They dress it up and call it shit like transition year or interns. Yeah. But free labour.
You do 4 weeks or whatever. So lads were clevered out. They went into the cinema and did placements. It was right fucking easy. Went up to the psychiatric and up to local mental and did whatever 3 weeks, 4 weeks it was, getting stuck in. So I liked it from then onwards, and now I'm still at it. No escape.
Because I often wonder about schools. People ask me about like what kind of a school I went to. Sure, I went to a fucking, it was pure fucking savagery. It was the take and tip down, like, you know what I mean? It was, although it was under control at the time. The principal at the time, he actually frightened people as he walked around. He physically frightened people, and you might actually get punched in the head. So he kept it in
by
line.
him.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah. And listen, there was only certain lads he knew he could hit. He could hit old country lads like us, because we just shut the fuck up. Because if we went home and said, your man's after poking me in the head, they go, what? Yeah. For what did you hit? And to be fair, the one time he hit me a belt, I did almost kill 2 teachers in a yellow Mini that I bought up the V off a fucking wild savage of a fella. I came into school and had 2 of the boys in the back of it and was doing donuts in the yard. I did almost kill 2 teachers, and I deserved a punch for that, so. But we knew, like, sometimes the writing is on the wall for I don't know, did they do this in other schools where people come to your school, reps come to your school of an institute. Like, the people from the Curragh came to our school because they knew it was real horsey territory around that area, to see was there anybody good and small, or lads who take up smoking maybe in their early teens to keep the size down, who'd be interested in leaving school and being a professional jockey. And 2 or 3 lads did. But I'll never forget how a man and a woman came from the psychiatric hospital in Clonmel to basically try and recruit people. And those were the only 2 representatives that I remember anyway. There might have been others coming from other fucking places, but I went, so either jockeys or psychiatric nurses. That's who your options. Those are the 2 options. Like, and I often wondered, like, was it really, were they trying, was it an experiment to see, could they see the early onset of fucking, And
if you joined the 2, they'd be psychiatric horses. It's the worst joke ever.
I'm enjoying it. Fuck it. But did you, like, day one going in there when you're 15 years of age must have been, what the fuck am I after signing up for here?
Oh, just like something from a horror film. It was like, shouldn't be saying this, but like, it was really like, it was third world conditions when I first started nursing. It was the funding and it was just absolutely something like from Shutter Island, almost similar to that. But nowadays it's a hell of a lot different. But back then, when I was 15, I walked into the roaring and screaming and shouting and paint peeling off these old walls that are 200 years old and like big craters in the floor. You couldn't move beds, or beds didn't have wheels. It was absolutely horrific. But I still stuck with it for some weird reason.
I love that young Senan was intrigued by that. I know, lads, it's rough, but fuck it, this might be all right.
They started paying me then, so I was like, oh, I might stay with this.
That's the fucking key.
Money. Yeah.
Money.
The HSC is like this cult that gives you money, as opposed to the other way around, which is good.
Yeah, it must be like, because things like the likes of the HSC, you do hear about, and and they fucking, because I've talked to other nurses and stuff like that, and that's the first thing they go, fucking old HSC. And I can only imagine it's like anything civil service, put together like that, must be like somebody running around with their hair on fire going, well, I don't know who's to blame. Do you know?
Yeah, that's it. Pointing fingers.
Yeah. Although I reckon you would have made a good guard for some reason, a good crack guard.
I actually went for the guards, but I think at the time I was going. You had to. Well, I'm colorblind, so I couldn't fucking. I think Phil behind me is fucking red or something, but it was kind of a requisite to be, whatever eyesight you had and not be colorblind. So I couldn't get in. It changed later on. I remember years ago, I went for it. Just there was kind of a recruitment drive, and you had to apply online before a certain date. And I did all the paperwork, and I never clicked send. In the end, I fucking completely forgot the date. So I was just like, kind of got sick of nursing for a few weeks, and I said I'd try it. C'est la vie.
That seems to be the tale so far. I'm saying it seems to be. So like, I kind of fucked up in this, and this is how I've ended up here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't even want to phone, let alone download Vine. But
that's it.
I hit V instead of B when I was going for Bebo, and before I knew it, I ended up with this fucking thing, and I just had to commit to it then.
Bebo. Do you remember Bebo?
I do, because there was only somebody mentioned it the other day, and I'm trying to picture it in my head. Like, what was the point of Bebo again? Was that like Friends, or Facebook, or was it originally?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like you could put up, well, your profile picture was never your true picture. You had like a little video you played, which is like your theme song or your thing.
Yes.
And then they added like just music at the end, and then your little your statement or your little, what was this you're saying? And there's always something cringy. People have quotes from music or quotations from films and that.
Oh, and it still eats my soul when I see people putting up things like that. Like I normally just only post fucking silly things on Instagram, and my stories is where I would put most stuff or whatever. But there was one or two. No, it was actually probably 3 different people that I follow and I'm friendly with, like, throughout the day. And I noticed they've been doing it for weeks and weeks, just these candid photographs. I'm just sitting there, and it's like I'm looking at a drink, and this fucking spiel underneath it of like, sometimes the world can be burning, guys, but you need to look deep inside yourself. And I'm as Senan fucking Byrne style, projectile vomiting all over my phone, going, would you ever?
It's cringy, isn't it?
Off.
But like, you know what? It's so bad and so fuck offy. But I feel if I'd miss it if I didn't see people making absolute tits of themselves.
Yeah, but I think what's wrong with me is I don't mind that. But when you see like there's people commenting going, fucking get after it, man. You're so right. I'm fucking, this is it. And you're going, oh, Jesus Christ. There's people actually buying this shit and not actually. Yeah. Oh, my fucking days. So I couldn't help myself. I put up a picture genuinely the other night, right? It was just a picture of me with a cup of tea. It's like, warning, guys, inspirational, heartfelt, while being totally vulnerable, quote here, while drinking matcha tea. And I know for a fact there was a few people that like that who believed it. Because I know who, and that actually hurt me more. Then I was like, oh no, there's a load of people get this and they know I'm acting the bollocks.
But there's a few people here that I know totally buy into that stuff.
Yeah,
and you're going,
100%. I was probably one of those people. Oh, Tom. You're my inspiration.
It's so fucking strong. Have you ever thought about doing stand-up?
Oh, Christ, no. We tried to... Now, Stevie did a night in Kilkenny a few years back, and he did great. And it was just a once-off, and he never went back. There was kind of there was a fella called Michael Rice, he's a comedian in Kilkenny, but he had kind of a night out. But we did a kind of a stage performance, you call it, in one of the schools in Kilkenny, and I was just back off my honeymoon, so I kind of wasn't prepared for it. So I said I just joined the two lads at the end of their sketch. So they did it great, I think it was like half an hour, 40 minutes. And then the plan was for me to come on the stage afterwards. I ran through the audience with my suitcase, and I was in Hawaii, so the Hawaiian shirt on and shorts. And in my mind, I thought this would be hilarious and people would laugh. And no one laughed. It was just absolute silence. I ran through pretending I was just at the flights, shouting at the lads, and they were all mic'd up, which is a big place. And the plan was for one of the lads to give me a microphone that was on the chair so I could do my little spiel. But the lads forgot to give me the mic. So I ran through the crowd and I jumped up on the stage and I had no mic, and it was just absolute cringe fest. And the worst thing was it's recorded and it's up on YouTube. I think it's on the Fupin Ejits YouTube. So if you scroll through it, the lads played a blinder now.
But that's what I was thinking. I was thinking sketch on stage would definitely work. Like if you're coming from the Vine point of view, that'd never work. But I think your sketches are fucking on point. I think you should.
As for it's hit and miss, sometimes some lads do the sketches full time and it's their thing. But we have 40 hours a week when we're in the mental hospital and we're trying to keep your own fucking mindset in a healthy place, and you're coming home and sometimes you might be up for a sketch, so we might cram it in after work in a matter of 5 minutes where you just do it and it's thrown together, not edited right, and we're not doing 4, 5, 6 different takes for each shot. We're just slamming it together for the crack, But so it's very hard to get things right, and then for stand up as well, that takes so much effort, and you know yourself how years of practice and learning and how to, you're a great storyteller, whereas I'm a terrible storyteller, and so many different factors you have to play around with there.
Oh, trust me, don't let that get in the way. It's you're already at headline status and that you're internet famous right now, so don't worry, you're fine. After
I think you played in the was it Bakers in Clonmel years and years ago?
Yes, I definitely did. I
think the first time I downloaded the Vine, I think it's the same night I remember seeing you in there, or seeing your poster. But I remember I was going to see a David O'Doherty sketch, and I had just downloaded the app that day or something like that, and I put up my first Vine. It was just someone at the pub when my friends was drunk putting up something. But I remember seeing your poster at it. So there's our connection now to the first day of Vine.
By Jesus Christ.
It was your fault.
There has to be something intrinsic in that, so if that's the case.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. But I wanted to, because I think you're getting across your style of comedy fucking brilliantly with and I've done a couple of them myself with the dog or the baby giving me shit, is the one, where you scroll through the pictures. It's a different mindset, isn't it? Because
I'm definitely not the first to do that, but it's kind of like a Viney kind of thing where you're like, say if you watch videos, you'll have to have a quiet space to do it. And my thinking was, when Vine's finished and Instagram was the thing to do, people wouldn't always click on the audio button in Instagram first. So for a sketch, you wouldn't hear the first few seconds of it. And if I'm making short sketches, that's half the fucking thing. They're not going to rewatch it. And you wouldn't get. So the idea behind that was, if you put loads of photos up and you scroll, it plays out like a comic book, the video as such, and you make out what the audio could be like. And that's where it started. And, it seemed to do fairly well for a while. But sure, fucking people get sick of everything. So I got sick of it as well.
People want, I suppose, schedule things. Where's my fucking yoke? You owe it to them, at that stage. But it is definitely, it's almost like looking, it's picture book is the wrong word. Almost like a comic, isn't it? You're going, yeah, oh, fucking. because you're after getting ourselves involved. Brilliant, and I love that you turn in a good amount of, just like I do with my child and my dog. I turn them against me.
Yeah, she's always against me. She's great to get involved. In fairness to her, she was. I think photos might be easier because there's not that. All you have to do is pull off a facial gesture or movement, whereas a video you'd have to put your heart and soul into it. And people aren't all comfortable being in a video to a photo, but she's fantastic. She's in the next room.
She's listening. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, say nothing. Just blink twice if you know. If
you could see a gun come up to my head.
That would be like the most Senan Byrne thing ever. It would be a gun just come into shot, like just right now, just right beside your fucking head. Because although you got her to act in was it Pennies when you pulled out? You rolled out. Oh, fucking brilliant! Where are we off to?
Oh, Pennies, yeah, and I actually jumped out. It was a clip I found on the internet. I hate pennies. I fucking hate pennies.
I've asked so many women to try and explain it to me. What is it about pennies? And they have no true answer. Like no answer you could write down on paper and go, oh, well, there you have it.
No.
It's like, I don't know, cocaine or something. You know, there's something people can't put their fucking finger on.
Something hypnotic. Yeah. Come up with these massive brown bags that are disintegrate within 10 minutes of leaving the store. And then they have to go to another shop to get a different bag to put pennies clothes in.
I think I struggle with the shops, full stop. I'm not great. In fairness, I don't get asked to the shops very often because there's no point in having, you know, a man with a mullet and a two-tone moustache looking fucking sour walking behind you, huffing at every fucking point, embarrassing the life out of you. So it's as well to go with her mother, you know, that kind of way. It's
just join this. There's always a row of lads outside with their one leg up against the window and just head to, and look, glancing up every so often to see if the wife is finished. Kind of eager, but don't want to seem too eager.
There has to be something there has to be a way we can make money from lads hanging around outside shops. What can we sell lads outside shops?
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
Because
would you start busking outside shops, or would you start selling lads?
Oh fuck it! I'd start selling.
Okay. Fuck
it. Why not? Yeah. You know, because there's nothing worse than busking. Because whether they want it or not, they're getting it. But with selling, if you could pick the right thing, you know what I mean. Trust me, I've done enough gigs in places where people did not even know there was going to be comedy on, and they're going, "Who's that cunt?" Oh. The amount of times, or the telly is still on over behind your head and they're going, you shut the fuck up. Oh,
God.
Thankfully, in the last few years, those have been few and far between, but I've done a few where they're going, what's this shit now? I actually did. I remember I did one in Baker's. I was gigging in Baker's one night and there was a grand crowd in, but because there was a smoking room, you could right there with a glass window. There was, They weren't the most desirable people. You know the people you were talking about that kind of give Clonmel a bit of a name?
Oh, yeah. Everyone in Clonmel. I know them.
You know, yeah.
I get shot.
Yeah. Oh, you're not going back. That's it. That's your visa revoked.
Yeah, me and Phil all the way.
Do you know what? That weird moment of, there's your man. I was in a Euro shop or a Deals or something in Clonmel one time. I don't know what I was looking for. It was something ridiculous like fucking St. Patrick's Day bunting or something stupid. And I was just quite literally standing there looking through, and a bloke did the most Irish thing ever. He stood up beside me and just didn't even look. He went, didn't expect to see you in here. And just stared at me and just for wait, 5 seconds is too long, like. And then he just seemed to, I don't know, he just seemed to, maybe it was my fucking eyesight or something, but he just seemed to just dissolve into a puff of smoke behind. It's like, what the, say hello, or just what the fuck does, man. There was no need in that you know, we could have been done that way cooler. But I was in Baker's one night, and there was a group of those type of individuals that had apparently a funeral that day. And, they'd been on it since funeral time. And,
Oh, God.
oh, the shouting and and then a fucking row broke out amongst them in the smoking area. That everybody, and it was so weird. It's like people trying to pretend their parents weren't fighting upstairs. Everybody in the room was like, ah. And thankfully, I had enough stage maturity to point out the elephant that was kind of in the room and just go, we may as well all turn around and have a look, lads. You all want to have a look. It's like 60 people all turned around and went, oh, Jesus, don't look directly at them. They've got neck tattoos, like, you know.
And they probably weren't kicked out, were they?
That's so. They were drinking for fucking Ireland, sure. Jesus Christ. They were probably paying our fucking wages for turning up that night, like.
That's it, yeah.
But you just don't. So, yeah, my advice to you when I was asking, would you ever consider stand-up? That's the story I was going to tell you, so that you would never try and do stand-up. It's
okay. I think it's safe to say I'm never going to try it.
Yeah, because I wanted to give Stevie a bit of coaching, because Stevie came over. I've done 2 sketches with Stevie. Stevie came over to.
I remember that. Yeah.
Stevie came over to the mother's house and we did 2 sketches, and he was saying he was thinking of giving it a go. I said, man, fucking no worries. If you want me to have a look at your stuff, let's do it. Like, and he didn't. He obviously didn't trust me when. I don't think you're that good, Tom. You know, it's relax.
That was probably the time he tried that one session in Kilkenny, and we always played around with the ideas, and then, you know, I did have 1 or 2 things in mind for it, but oh my God, like when you see like 3 dudes doing stand up, it's quite difficult. Foil Arms and Hog, they have it down to, you know, a science. Like it's beautifully executed. Everything they do and say, it's all choreographed. It's like a, you know, what's that swimming where they're all swimming at the same time?
Yes, synchronized
swimmers. Yeah, it's like that, you know. But we're far from that.
Well, you see, the lads have lived in each other's pockets for fucking 12 years, like, you know what I mean? And they're all from, I think the lads did arts and drama. They didn't, you know, study to be psychiatric nurses, you know, so just...
Yeah.
So in a heartbeat, the lads could pick up, you know, a skull and speak to it like it's you know, fuck, not a bother to it. But again, the work, as you say, like the work that they have to put into that, because they do the world of you know, when they're taking the show on the roads, they do a fucking ton of work to get it right, like. And there'll be times you could see him going, I'm loving their stuff. We did, Foil Arms and Hog did Clonmel one night.
Did they?
Yeah, they did O'Keefe's. And I went down and I opened for him. But sure, do you think Foil Arms and Hog were selling out Vicar Street, but Tipperary being Tipperary, they had about fucking 20 people in. Like, you're going, lads,
no way.
These are fucking genius. Like, you know what I mean? And it was, there was, you know, when you're seeing lads in GA jerseys in the crowd, like it's a bit, you're going, oh, Jesus, right?
Yeah.
You know? Because the lads had
ball jokes.
The lads had this joke, had this bit about being the net people. And now I'm not burning material on them. They did this two specials ago, and it was quite simply they pulled nets on over their faces, and their faces were squashed down, and they spoke as if they're a warrior tribe, and it was just the most ridiculous thing, and it didn't get much traction that night.
Okay,
but
they went with it.
They went, fuck it, maybe it isn't a great sketch, you know what I mean? We tried it a few places and it's not hitting. I'm like, I don't know. I would even bring it out in front of your fans, because it's so, it's quite highbrow in a way, like, and this is not. Yeah. And even I said to the lads, I went, look, I'm going straight out there with fucking dick shit and fucking agricultural jokes. Just to get them warmed up for you. I'm just telling you that now. And the lads are like, all right. And, went down to Storm. I'll never forget a guy. It was actually opening for another act that was that fitted in quite well there. I'll never forget. Like, the crowd were fucking wild hyenas. They had never been to any live performance before. Like, they were fucking every which way. So it took a good fucking half an hour to get them in line for the main act to come on or whatever. And I'll never forget, this guy came up to me afterwards and he says, I'll tell you something now, Tom. I think this stand-up thing might be for you. I think you should fucking give it a go. Just fucking give it a go. Like, you're going, everything in me wants to punch you right now. You can't. The craft and effort I just put into that to tame you pack of fucking savages. Your man was going, oh no, fucking take it up altogether. Just just fucking. But Clonmel does have good pound shops.
Did you miss? Well, yeah, it does actually. Yeah, what's the one? There is one pound shop. I can't fucking remember it now. I don't want to give him a plug. Fuck him. Did you miss the gigs now? When's the last gig you did?
I did. Oh my god, man! I actually did 2 last week in Belfast.
Did you?
Yeah, and it works perfectly. What the fuck is going on down here? I don't know. They had 50 people max in the room, 2 to a table, 1.5 meter spacing all around, and they had their grub beforehand. Now, all right, they were there longer than the hour and 45 minutes, whatever. They were there fucking 2.5 hours in total. Like, I mean, if you're going to get Corona, you're going to get. Nobody was allowed in. It was a ticketed event, a pre-bought ticketed event, so it wouldn't have made a difference. You're going to get it in the first 5 minutes, or you ain't got it. And for the fucking life of me, I can't see. The problem here is nobody will put their flag in the stand and go. No, it's looking like it's going to. By next month, hopefully it will. But yeah, man, it's a fucking drug. I was gigging 5 nights a week, like, up until this shit fucking kicked in.
Yeah.
So it was,
Mac. That's a lot of late nights.
It is, but you kind of, in a lot of ways, like, it's not fucking breaking rocks in a quarry either. It's just driving to tell some fucking jokes and get paid for it. It's all right.
Yeah.
You get through a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. That's it. This is number 140. What is it? I mean, the 140s now. If you're a podcast,
we're in the 150s. This is 153, I think. Yeah, it's 153.
Wow.
Yeah. I barely come off fucking podcasting with this because we do a live game show as well with comedians on Tuesday nights where we just fucking annihilate each other, just live on YouTube, and people seem to fucking really like it. We just go off on each other like it's like a green room, but it's loosely based around the game show as well. Like, so. Yeah. And
I have to look it up. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, just look up Buckshot Sideshow. Sideshow is the name of it. If you look up my page, it'll be one of the latest ones to go up. Thanks. And it has turned up very good because one of the chap who owns Those Conspiracy Guys podcast, Gordo Rochford is his name. He's brilliant with tech. So from a remote location, he's able to bring up all the text in front of the boys, their names. It looks properly like a TV show, albeit the word cunt gets said at least 50 times. It will. Oh, okay. This show couldn't be transported straight to TV. It'd need some polishing if we were to, like, but it makes for good viewing all the same, like.
Yeah, deadly.
Because I had notions of trying to get the 3 on, but I just. Do you know what? I said, I'll break him up first because I'd say it would be fucking pandemonium. Even that night, who was the lad you brought with you that night in whatchamacallit, in Ivy Gardens?
That was Mark Dargan. He's a porter up in the hospital, the same hospital working. He I think he got did he win the Vodafone, comedy video of the whatever the fuck the title was, but he won tickets to it. And so Stevie got tickets as well. So I was the plus one of one of the lads, and Mark gave us a ticket as well. So the 4 of us got scuttered.
Yeah, but I thought you were invited because you were signed you were in the VIP and everything. You were in
that's because Mark got the VIP like plus ones or plus twos. And I actually can't remember what the hell the thing was, but we weren't there out of our own prowess or our skills or whatever. We knew nobody, but we didn't know anybody in the festival, but I don't know if we were meant to be in the tent, to be honest, actually, in hindsight.
Oh, no, you weren't, I would imagine. You weren't, yeah. But that's why I definitely thought, I think this makes...
We were there so early. We got a few drink tabs, free drink tabs, and we had them gone in minutes. So after that, then it was cash all the way, but oh my God. That was messy.
Standard practice is when you when you get into the Vodafone, you get your performer's bag or whatever. There's always a few bits in it, but you're just rusting for the tokens down the bottom, and you look around for the lads who have to give up the drinking a few years ago because they went too far. They're alcoholics, but they still get the same tokens. So you just shoot over to them before some other bollocks asks for them. And you go, you're hardly using them. And they're like, I was going to get a Coke. You're like, fuck your Coke. I'll buy you a Coke or a Fanta, whatever you want. I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
But you said, like, you got invited to Bordeaux and stuff. Am I right in saying, did you do promo for somebody? Or were you doing advertising for somebody?
We got, like, back in the day or more recently.
Well, but even back in the day, were you were advertising for people, weren't you?
Oh, we did a few ads in the past. Yeah, I think the first ad we did in town was for O'Hara's beer. You might know it now.
Oh yeah.
It's based in Carlow. They had a pub in town called the Brewery Corner. So we did a few ads for them on Facebook, I think it was, and then we used the venue for a few videos. And actually, the day that we were going to have a meeting with your man, the owner of O'Hara's, we went in. He was sitting down, and Stevie's kind of the man who talks, and out of the three of us, myself and Eddie, are just like children in the background. So just going, yeah, no, and so we got absolutely hammered. Like, we were sculling these IPAs that were 99% alcohol, and but we said to him, "Oh, we'll make a vine and we'll show you like the reach that you could have now." And I made this vine with one of the bartenders. He's a lovely fella, actually. He was doing this thing with a tea towel. He made it into a chicken. I know it sounds weird, but you roll the tea towel in a certain way, it looks like a chicken. And we were just drunk, and we just recorded him do that, and we just did a dance to it. But that went bananas as well. That got like hundreds of thousands of likes. I don't know what the views were back then. They're called loops, but so that was our first kind of entry into doing sponsored or some kind of form of ads. So we did a few ads for those dudes. It was mostly like drink related stuff. I think about O'Hara's, Bulmers, and Coors Light, and oh my god, it was all beer or cider.
Yeah, I'd probably get O'Brien Slurry Tanks. Needs to be. I know. Hey, I'd fucking take it. I don't give a shit. Because I remember, because there was kind of a period there where there was a fucking blast. I was going, are the lads on holidays or something? And they're after getting a fucking load of these done together, like. And it's always funny. You can tell, like, if Stevie's been away with the family or something, like, he turns up and he's in the sketch and he's a guard or something, and he's brilliantly tanned. You're like, right.
Yeah, that's it. He tanned so easily. He was black last summer. Jane, he was black. We had to colour grade all the video just to make him look somewhat normal.
That's the thing, like, because did you all get a decent camera or something? Go, lads, we need to learn about cameras here. And then you got really good with green screen because that one. I mean, I will actually. I can't put a date on anything, but it was one of your, let's call it a slideshow on Instagram, and that's of you getting married to a fucking plastic bag, a bin bag.
Oh yeah.
And having baby bin bags.
It was the thing. The caption was when she asked you to take the bins out. So I took the bins out and then took them out on a date, and things went well, and we had babies, and we got married. And there's a picture of getting married, and then there's a picture of what else is there? Yeah, having babies, baby bags. And that was it. And that's the green screen. Yeah, I'm in my 30s, and I'm fucking mortified. It's so weird when you think about it.
Man, Dave McSavage is in his 50s. Are you joking me? Like,
but he doesn't wear hot pants. We did the video today, and I'm wearing fucking hot pants. Yeah. And as well, absolutely scandal.
My next question off that was, what were they at? What did they think at home? Or are they just so used to it now at this stage? Like, yeah, whatever. That's sending in fucking hot pants.
They're okay. Yeah, they were. I didn't tell anybody about the videos for a long time. Like, nobody knew about it. And even when we started doing with the two lads, like, we weren't putting it out there. It was on Vine or YouTube, and not many people, if they didn't know you had a channel, would follow you. And then over time, the Fupin Ejits started as a different name on Facebook, and then we said, "Fuck it, we'll put it out there on Facebook and tell everybody in work, and we'll make them more, noticeable." And we came up with the name, the Fupin Ejits, and then only did my parents really know the full extent of what I was doing, behind closed doors, and it was very weird and very strange times. But they're all okay with it now, like.
Because you never know with an Irish parent, like, So I was like talking with Colgan on myself and Owen Colgan have a podcast as well, and he was saying he knew there was a moment his parents were grand people because they're country people, like country small time farmers. And when he went to the premiere of the movie of the Hardy Bucks, and he actually had to fuck a fleshlight and he'd kind of forgotten that bit had happened because they were drunk for most of their trip to Poland. In real life, they were actually drunk for most of it, and he got to that bit, and he was out in the foyer after. He's like, "So, what you think of the old fleshlight bit?" They were like, "Ah, it was gas, your grant." It was like, "What? That's sound."
Fair play. Did they know what a fleshlight was?
No, I don't. See, this is the other side of it. I think we worked out that they probably weren't fully sure what was going on. Do you know that kind of way? Like, you know, and if they did, you'd kind of go, "Oh, fuck, you know what a fleshlight is." You know,
that's it. It's reassuring that they didn't know.
Yeah. So, how did you all decide to get decent gear and get good at cameras, or what was it like? Because like your stuff has just come on in leaps and bounds. Like it looks really good.
Like it was mostly on phones at first, and then we got little crappy digital cameras, and then the first camera we got was a DSLR camera, Canon camera, and we did a sketch about the Leaving Cert, and it was down in Kieran's College in Kilkenny. It was one of the first ones where you use a zoom lens, and it was kind of like almost mockumentary style. It was only a 2-3 minute video, but it went viral at the time because of the Leaving Cert. And every year you see someone commenting on bringing it back up, and it goes viral on their pages. But so that was the first time we used a half decent camera, and ever since then we're kind of using newer, 4K cameras and this, that, and the other. But it's not file arms and hogs standard, but we're getting there. It's still, but we like to be rough and ready. It's not. We don't really angle much, line up. We did a recent sketch about Guinness, or not Guinness, about pints, and it was probably the most cinematic thing we've ever made. It was like it's full on slow motion and walking like Drive, the film Drive, and things like that. But that was the closest we got to being, trying to be somewhat cinematic and stuff. But. And there's only one joke. The whole that video is around 3 minutes long. It's one joke at the end of it, and it's a fart.
Yeah. And the thought that I remember I used to do a bit. I can't remember how it went, but it was about that. It was about missing. It's not realizing how smelly we all fucking were in pubs until the smoking ban came in. And I remember it was. Yeah. But now you'd nearly missing out a smelly, stinky fart, wouldn't you?
That's it. Yeah.
The Guinness. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's the attraction to you, though. There's something in that where people go, you know what I mean? It looks like you've pulled the trigger on it and you haven't over-engineered it. Because I can see, because sometimes I found it myself, stuff off the top of your head can land way fucking better. You know what I mean? Because there's almost a freshness in the people go, they find it funny. You almost, like, especially with the likes of that fucking one where you came up with the baby bin bags. Oh my fucking Jesus. I got so much pleasure out of that. It was like, this is... I'll
repost it for you later on.
Do, please, yeah. It was just... it was fuck... And it was... Because it's like that sickening fucking album of... And this is when we met, and... Look at you guys, you're adorable. And it was totally sticking 2 fingers up to that too. Like, it was just...
Yeah.
Fucking beautiful. Do you know when you've nailed it before you even post it? You're going, this will do well.
No. No. Like, sometimes you'd be overconfident, like, oh my God, it's going to do amazing. And then it was absolutely shite. And you're kind of heartbroken, and you're kind of angry for being heartbroken, and you're double guessing yourself, and it's just, and it gets messy then. And sometimes you say, fuck that, I'll delete it. But I'm kind of older and wiser now, and I don't give a fuck anymore, to be honest. But you wouldn't know what would do well. Some things would just be outright awful or shite, and you put zero effort or thought into it, and it seems to do very well. And some things you put so much effort and thought into, and I remember buying a smoke machine for this Vine, and it completely backfired. I was that one friend who thinks he's Michael Jackson or something like that, and it just flicks to me being Michael Jackson, where he's up in the air like that, and the wind is blowing his hair, and there's a smoke machine blowing. I spent like fucking 80 quid getting a smoke machine for it. it flopped so much. I was like, oh my God, this is such a waste of time.
I've never put any more effort in, Sue. That's it. I fucking no more effort.
That was the last day, yeah.
So basically, the success stories of your life have all come about as a direct result of failure.
Yeah.
When you break it into microcosms, it's kind of mini.
It's pretty much how I was conceived. My mother said, and failure, and yeah.
So I won't take any more of your time, Senan. This has been we've been trying to get this to happen for ages, and finally, you're probably at work right now because do you know what? You're a hero.
I'm in Brussels.
Can I just
fucking Egypt?
That's just applauding our front line. Did you get or did you hear of anybody who was getting single lads who were getting some extra puss as a result of being a frontline hero, or does that translate? Is it like?
I think Eddie. You'd have to ask Eddie Whelan that now. He's a player.
Is Eddie a player? He's got good hair. I'll give him that. But is he a player?
I think. I don't know. He's very elusive and Mysterio. You wouldn't know what he'd be doing.
He's just one of those wild children,
He goes into pennies a lot.
Say no more, the dirty bastard. He's not outside the window like you and me with our fucking foot up against it.
You just see his eyes over the railing looking around.
Okay, that has to be our next sketch. Is turn Whelan into a pennies pervert. That has to be our next sketch.
We got booted out of pennies before in Clonmel for recording something. The manager came over and said, "Get out." And we explained, we're doing a video. It's for the Fupin Ejits, because we thought we were famous. But he said, "No, get out."
Fucking hell. There's some people are no fucking crack at all. Go up to Marks and Spencer's. No. It's a bit more class. You know what I mean? Go up to Marks and Spencer's.
Yes, that's it.
They'll let you film anything inside there. It's because, Protestants don't mind. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Like I said, I won't take any more of your time. For anybody, I'm guessing everybody already fucking does follow you, but just to give them your best handle. This is the weirdest one. And you probably don't even like people following you. You're like, I wish they wouldn't follow me, but they'd still see my videos. The projectile vomiting again.
Tell them all to block me and unfollow me if you do.
See, this is how you know what? You're a sneaky bastard. This is how you do it.
Reverse psychology.
I'm so shy, guys. Please don't. Oh, no, please. Oh, sure. Look, okay. If you're going to follow me, it's okay. I guess I better make some videos.
I unzip my top and it says it's all my Instagram handles. Follow me.
There's no other Senan Byrnes on Saint Senan. Saint Senan Byrnes.
And his time.
That's one quick one. Because most of your followers are probably Americans and foreigners, were they able to get their head around Senan?
No, they were calling me Seaman and everything.
Seaman.
Seanan.
Oh, Sean. Well, you can see. Yeah. No, you can't actually see Seanan in it either. No, that's
no.
I've had him fuck up Tom, so I'll try having a try having a surname like O'Mahony. For somebody who's oh Lord.
Well, they call me Byron.
What?
Byrne has the Y. They call Byron. But there's so many Byrnes in America, you think that they fucking get used to it now, but...
No, they're not going to fucking get used to it. Just stop being fucking famous in America, will you?
I will. I'm going to delete my Instagram after this now.
All right, so I would have told the listeners to listen to Senan Byrne or to follow Senan Byrne, but no, he doesn't exist anymore. He's off to Brussels. He's the new EU fucking commissioner. He's heading over there to fill his boots. Senan Byrne, thank you very, very much. That's been brilliant.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks a million, Senan. Good man yourself. Like you said, do not follow him. In fact, block him. Block that man. Because just because he's so anti everything to do with fame and social media. Ironically. Good on you. Do follow this on whatever platform you want to follow it on. Chatty Snaps is Tom Bear O'Mahony. The rest is Buckshot Podcast. You'll find it. Or Tom O'Mahony Comedy. Whichever one you want to get a vibe on. I probably operate more on listen to me for fuck's sake, over on Instagram, where I throw up all my silly pictures and silly shite and all the rest of it. But to keep up to date, sure, look it, you'll be alright. Whatever one of the platforms. If you want to send me any long form, which has been class, a few people have sent me a few long form emails just kind of going, I'm fucking struggling through this dose. And we fucking chatted back and forth on email. So buckshotpodcast@gmail.com if you want to fire me over something longish. Other than that, lads, I want you to just sit back, throw an old bottle into the gob. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. God bless and thanks.